The Hebrew text in the Bible has hidden formats. By revealing these formats, I will prove the first writer's words were hidden from you. These formats look like poetry as I group them into small paragraphs. Their grouping will become known as a psalm, and together they become psalms. Let me show you our Creator's 12 commandments, listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Any father of a family or his wife who did not obey any one of these 12 commandments, our Creator demanded they bring him a sin offering. Thus, our Creator defined the word sin as not obeying any one of these 12 commandments. Next, I want to show you how I changed one word in Exodus 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and the words now reveal the style of the roof for our Creator's tent for meeting with Him. Let me show you the translator's words from the preface of the 1611 King James Bible. They gave 4 reasons for themselves or others to edit the Bible's words. The red arrow at the top points to their 3rd reason to edit the text. By the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next red arrow down points to them giving the title, the Divine, to a clerk named Gregory. The next block of words, they point out they were happy that the first emperor of Rome established the year to the course of the sun. Behind this text means Nebuchadnezzar ordered his kingdom to follow our Creator's calendar when he stopped eating grass. The last arrow points to your reward for studying the Bible. Your reward is to have a fellowship with the saints and participation of a heavenly nature that will never fade away. There is no such thing as nature to a truthful Christian. Our Creator created everything. Not everyone has the knowledge to correct every word. I have an old Bible program that has the New American Standard Bible 1977 concordance to help find a better word. Their concordance has the number of times they use that English word in a parenthesis for that Hebrew word. The translators removed his name, YHVH, to put in 2 titles, Lord and God. I replaced those titles using the letters Y and V as his name, for the Hebrew language does not have a J, O, or W. By using these 2 letters, I am closer to the truth than anyone using J, O, or W for his name. No proper English was used. The blue highlighted text is text that I am removing. The red highlighted words are little words that I'm adding. Gray italic words are words that I added. To respect and honor our Creator, all capital letters in purple are our Creator's words. This is Jesus' prophecy, for I am revealing the first writer's words to tell you the true truths about Jesus. Their words will take your belief to trusting our Creator. You will be watching prophecy before your eyes as I edit true truths back into their psalms. Okay, this is going to be Amos, and you can see I've already started, and things went bad on the last 2 tries that I've attempted this. I think I've got some things corrected. The thing here is like I said, I started it once, and then there was so much text that got thrown out that after an hour and a half, I didn't think anybody wanted to sit through all that. So I'm remaking this. For history purposes, this is getting the condensed version, okay? These are his words through Amos. And you can see I only have 1 word here, and you know that the format is usually 2 major words. And this would be a 3-verse, and this is a 4-verse. So we got a problem right off the bat. Now, the next thing is I've got pieces here, okay, just pieces. But what we've got is this king here for Israel, and this is going to be about Israel. So I've got to bring you up to date as far as the king's timeline, and this is from our Creator's hidden format, so it's probably the most accurate king chart you'll ever see. And this is the king I was just talking about here. And so he is the first king of Israel, and he has a son. And it's very important to note that he has a son, because they're all going to die off, okay? Or he's not going to have any sons himself that are going to live. They're all going to perish. And then the king from Solomon's youngest son here becomes king here, and he loses East Manasseh. But then you can see that the small letters mean bad kings, capital letter kings mean good kings. But it's this timeline that we're talking about, supposedly. Okay. Now, when I mentioned he had a son, that's because you can see right here, he has a son. So, I don't know if it's the son of Jeroboam that this is going to be talking about for his 2 years that he was there, because I know the text real well, and this here guy, we've got enough on him and what he did in his lifetime. So, but what happened here is this text started falling apart. It started having things of future kings from Damascus. They're called Aram. But the thing here is now we skip over to Gaza, which is on the other side, that's in Judah. And we're talking about cities that are in Judah that belong to the Philistines. Then we're talking way up outside of Israel, and the prophets never traveled there. And then what happened was all these bits and pieces from other stories. And then when I came to this text, I said, well, this has a story, because when you read it, these don't really have stories. And then I said, I'll keep this and I'll see what else I can do. And then I found this, and I thought, well, these kind of go together somewhat. They're still just small pieces, but it is starting to talk like a prophecy that the tribes of Israel, or tribes in the kingdom of Israel, are going to be sent away. So I saved that text, and then I went on, and all of a sudden we had citadels all over the place. And then we're talking back in Judah, and then we're back to Israel, and then we're back to Judah again, different timelines. They really have this text all screwed up. But what I did was, you can see, it took me a while to explain, because I was going in detail, because I was hoping to make like a part one. But when I got this far throwing stuff out, I realized after an hour and 35, 40 minutes that I can't make a video of me just saying, get rid of it. Nobody's going to want to know about that. So yeah, that text is out. It just doesn't make anything. But all of a sudden here, I have things that look like a format. And when I went down a little bit later, yes, it still looks like it's got a possibility. So I'm going to edit from here, because this would be really the first prophecy. Now, I better take you back up here a second. See, they had the word visions, meaning he had more than one vision. Okay? So the thing here is I've noted that this could possibly a 3-verse format, and then this can be, I don't know yet, because it's kind of like why they're mentioning this king would be at this time that this king, because this guy never existed. But this guy here, I put him in to say it would be the covering of the timeline that I done, or showed you. So what do I have here? I've got pieces that have possibilities, okay? And this means that either, because when they note it like this would be a prophet from Judah that went into Israel. And there are stories that do this. Okay, there's a prophet that went there, but we don't know his name. So is the guy's name Amos? Don't know. But I'm just saying that it sounds like it's a prophet from Israel or from Judah going into Israel. Okay, because I know the story's pretty good. So, well, I guess I should start editing this text here just to see what the format is. Now, I've got another problem I got to mention to you. My quick cheat sheets to get to this concordance here to show you and how I work with it. That isn't working either. I tried for 2 days and I can't reconnect it. So I've got to go spend a couple $100 to get something that works manual instead of Wi-Fi. So it's just a matter of money and the shipping. So there's probably going to be a few videos that I'll have to go over and show you, but I've made too many mistakes, so I do that. I forget to put you guys back on, and I have a problem. Then I talk for half hour before I realize I didn't do that. So trying to get rid of that problems, I'm not going to go there as much as possible. I'll be telling you what I'm seeing here. And the first thing, flight will perish from the swift, and the stalwart will not have strength, will not strengthen his power. So if we figure out what the word stalwart is here by the Theros, secular dictionary check, one who is steadfast, I see that. Who is staunch, who is courageous, who is bold, who is valiant. Okay, so now if I go over, oh, that's right, I got that set up. So, but the thing here is flight will perish. Well, let me bring it in a little closer. Yep, forgot to do that. Talking too much. Because you can see that this is not going to connect, so let me just get rid of that. And say, how do I do this? Light will perish from the swift. Nor the mighty man save his life. Okay, so now this is telling me that that's the end of the paragraph. And this does connect. So there's two formats. 3 verse, one will be a statement and the other two will be two verses that connect together like a longer sentence that explain or define the same thing as they're saying in the statement. Here, a 4 verse is these two on separate lines, but they'll make 2 long sentences when they get put together to make a paragraph. The flight, I can't use flight at all. That just doesn't work. His power, I don't see that. I can see the word, they will perish. Now this is almost like it's the end. And it would be for the swift and stalwart. Let me see. Now this is chapter 2. Let me see if there's a word here in this that makes stalwart. Because otherwise I'd just put courageous. But I just don't want to do that. I like to try to And let's see if I like this. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take you over here, but I hope I bring you back. Here you can see that I've clicked on the word stalwart, and we've got all these words down here, and you can see they're only used it once. So it's the mighty, the swift and mighty, the swift and powerful. Okay, powerful or mighty? Mighty is used more times, so I'm going to try to use mighty by going here and just putting the word mighty. Now, you probably observed here now that we have the word mighty over here. So let me click on that, and it's a different Hebrew word. So I click stalwart, and it's this Hebrew word. And when I click this word, it is this Hebrew word, which you can see is used twice in a row. So it's mighty men is the way they're doing it. Mighty ones, mighty warriors, valiant. So what I see here, or the mighty man, no, it's got to be the men, mighty men. So I've got to correct that. Whoops. Nor the mighty men save their lives. Got to put an S on the end of it. Well, got to put a V in here as well. So, green here and here. Nor the mighty men save their lives will not have. Yeah, I think I'm going to add the word have. Oops, I'm adding that. Strength, and I got to get rid of this. So this would be a period here. The swift and mighty. Well, let me just click on the word swift. Yeah, they're talking about just swift all the time. So now this means I have the swift and mighty will not have strength, nor the mighty I don't like reading the word mighty twice. Boy, I don't know. They got a couple other words that are only used once. So let me use the word strong. It's used 19 times. I didn't see that before. The swift and strong will not have strength, nor the mighty men. For the mighty men will not save their lives. The swift and strong will not have strength, nor the mighty men save their lives. That just reads so odd. But this here, Am I using the word? Should I use the word perish? They will perish. No, I can't use that and make it sound smoother. Okay, that's an attempt at getting the first. Then you can see that this text, I don't know what I'm going to do with. Probably throw it out later. But who grasps the? I'm going to put who uses. Who uses the bow will not stand. Who uses the bow I can say will not escape. Who uses the bow will not escape. Nor who rides. Save their lives. So I can use all this again here. But that does make a two verses in a row that are 4-verse. So that is a good sign that I can do a 4-verse and a 4-verse. Okay. And it's, I don't need the word who and put are here, the riders or horsemen. I can use the word here. Nor the horsemen, comma, save their lives. Even the bravest among the warriors will flee that day. I don't know what I'm hesitating at. Come on. It declares wiving. Okay. But see, now that text is reading like things to come, like a prophecy. Okay. So that works. This looks like it's gonna fit somewhere. Either it fits with the story or not, but that is good to see that these two are here. Now let's see if I can get this one to combine with something down here, which I don't see, which means maybe this is the second vision. Okay. Hear these, not this, hear these words. Because they're coming from our Creator. Hear these words, and I got to add an S. And it's got to be from. And that gets rid of that. And it looks like this is going to be a 4-verse because the next two has not spoken but spake. And don't be changing any of my words. These are all encrypted and encoded. And I really don't have time to explain any of that to you. So I might do that in a video, but it says spake against, and it can't be sons, it's got to be the tribes. Give them a little t, because that way they're falling away from our Creator, so I can't give them respect by giving them a capital T. For Israel. Now, what you did see me do was way up above here. I used all capital letters, or all small capital letters, to mean the bad guys. When they're the good guys, they get all capital letters. These mean kingdoms. When they're copied, they're bold like that. I'm talking about kingdoms. It's just one way for me to note the text, so people don't make up what they want the text to mean when it says something. I'm really clamping that down. Just can't do that. I'm putting the emphasis on the words to make sure that that's what the writer was speaking about. Then nobody's going to be changing the answers here. Now that seems like that's the end of the group, but really this doesn't mean much, because this would be against Judah, and that's not the entire, all the tribes. So that can't be right. And this is no reason why to punish them. So this is not really needed. Because now we'll punish you for, and it's not obeying the 12 commandments, and it was pretty much they went after another god and goddess, so, or and other gods. So and this, not punish, they all know the promise that he made with them is sending them into captivity, into exile. So for all your evilness, now the only thing is, this doesn't make any sense because I don't have anything here. So what I've got here now is just pieces. Now I get to go down and work on the rest of the text. I just realized my mic not be. Oh boy, had a rough day. Okay. And I can't start with that. But I might be able to start with these words. And this is the Hebrew word for Lord. So it'd be our Lord. And this would be all caps. And I'm going to get rid of this. Our Lord YV. This is one of the times that they had to use, and pay attention why they I keep telling everybody that they use 2 titles for our Creator's name, and this is one of them. And you can see why they did that, because when they came across Lord that they have already a title for, they couldn't use Lord again. So they're literally trying to remove his name on purpose. It wasn't so you didn't know his name. Our Lord YB. Showed me standing by a wall. Usually they are vertical. Showed me this would have to be an angel. Lord YB showed me an angel. See, they took that out too. Because you can't have our Creator. These are titles for our Creator. So it has to be angel. Okay. And usually I've been doing that, and angels get a special color green. Because if they start talking, I want everybody to know the text that's being said. So, well, this is so far off, I can't really do that. I have to say that I'm adding this. Standing by a wall. I can use a plumb line and not this word. Okay. What I was doing was I was trying to find out if this is a 4-verse or 2-verse or 3-verse. Sorry about that. And it looks like that is going to be a 4-verse. And YV asked me, don't need to know him. We already know who it is. What do you see? I said in angel, AMG, angel, with a plumb line. Okay. So this is going to be this. And then we have the comma. And since I added it, I had to add it. And I'm adding this. When I'm adding small words, I'm not really important. It's the important words that I'm adding that I have to designate that's my influence on the text. And YV asked me, comma, what do you see? And I said an angel with a plumb line, which that's what he's seen, but he saw him by a wall. So then our Lord said, I am about to put a plumb line in the midst of my people, in the midst of Israel. Let's see, do I still have that in the, yep, period. Then our Lord said, I'm about to put a plumb line in the midst of Israel. Better save that. That seems to be good. Or I will spare them no more. Now see, like I said, the text is scattered now because when I show you the timeline, okay, so here, now this king is going to lose Manasseh, or East Manasseh, okay? Now you got to keep that in mind. But see, all these years, and then it's going to be Assyria that comes and takes it. So what we're talking about here is this is going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. So we have to understand by getting a map of the tribes and say, here is East Manasseh, and Ammons are up here in Damascus, or Arams are up here in Damascus, and they seem to want to start a fight. They tried to do this several times, but the king, that Ahab that I had corrected, or a capital letter, that's in about 20 years, so it has to be this was happening. So keeping that in mind, we now know that the king for Jeroboam, and Amos was sent to him. I'm not sure if it's from Judah yet, but this is a story that would make sense, or this is a prophecy of what's going to happen. Okay, now what did I have cleaned up here? This is more or less actually the start of this prophecy and not the stuff at the top. And then this stuff here might go with the stuff down below. I try to keep all this in mind when I'm doing things, just to make sure that it has to follow the actions of the words that I can find in Kings and Samuel, in the Chronicles. So, let's see here. Okay. High places of Isaac. This is going to be East Manasseh. So, what I do is I put a East representative, and Manasseh, I need the map to spell the name. So, let me set that over here for a second. Although I shouldn't have done that. Let me correct that. And these are going to be all small letters. Let me see if I got this. Even though I've seen it. Okay. So this is a tribe that we're talking about. Boy, I'm glad I pulled that map up and let you know. Well, know ahead of time, because we know it can't be Isaac. Okay, Isaac's the high places. Ah, okay. It's because I know the story, and I think this isn't going to end up being Amos in the long run. There is another story of a prophet that is going to be talking to the king about the tribe Ezekiah, saying, we're strong enough, we're going to take them on. And that is that they left with them, that he took them with him. And when they took Manasseh, all those that were on the battlefield and everything else, they captured, they took them. But it's a good warning. A plumb line in the midst of Israel would mean that, see this? This is my judgment for what happens when this goes on. This I'm setting to tell you that it's true, that I'm willing to send you all into captivity, okay? It's a good warning shot, okay? High places. High places are actually pillars that they would put a carved image of an idol of a goddess or the sun god Ra, and then the goddess is his daughter. These pillars that they would set up would sometimes be left clean for incense, and then they'd have an altar beside it or after it that they would do a sacrifice to him, but the incense would be put on here. These high places would be the higher the these, they thought by getting to the highest place, like on the top of a hill or the top of their roof of their house, they were closer to the gods, okay? So you have to understand what high places means. So it could be on the hills of Manasseh, but Manasseh doesn't have hills. Manasseh is a mount that overlooks. If I put sea level here in the Jordan River down here, and say the hills of Israel go up to about 2,000 feet and then down to 1,800 feet, but when it comes up over here, the mounts over here look down. So there's no such thing as mountains in Israel when they can look down on them from a mount. Okay, there's a white cap mountain. I don't know how visible it is from Israel, but it's Mount Carmel, and it has a snow-capped mountain, and it's like, I think, 15,000 feet. So it's like another 10,000 feet higher than anything here. So that's a mountain, okay? But here, it has to be in. So it's not really mountains, it's in. And we're talking high places are going to be altars. Their high places are going to be their place where they sacrifice the things. And this is going to be their altars. And this would be, yeah, think of, and that gives you the understanding that they were sacrificing onto another god. Their sacrifice was that they would kill the animal on the altar. Then they would take it off, they would roast it and eat it. Okay? That's how they sacrificed, pagans did at that time, and it's an Egyptian practice. Okay, I'll spare them no longer. It has to be 4, and then it has to be their altars. Whoops, I guess I should just their altars. I will spare them no longer for their altars in Manasseh. It has to be their land will be desolate. And this is a capital L, meaning it was part of the land given them by Moses. This is not, well, it's not promised land. Promised land I use for capital L. So this has to be the land that was given to them by Moses. And their land will be, so I did add that, will be desolate. And laid to waste, meaning that the enemy is coming in strong and going to pillage, burn, destroy, and take away the captives. Okay. And these are going to Damascus. Okay. And at that time, some were made personal slaves. Some were made, they had their own homes, but they had to work the land. They were like slaves on the land, working the land and doing the menial, the hard work. So that's what they'd done. Example, they needed more people to farm for their food, for them to live up in Damascus. So they take them away. Marauders were doing this up until probably the 19th century over there. The hill raiders would come down and kill the people because they were going to take their food supply, because there were farmers down there. That was the only way the people in the hills could exist. They couldn't grow anything up there. They weren't that good at it. So that's probably still going on. Well, no, it's not really that I know of, but I know that it was, my grandfather used to live in Upper Assyria, so I got told these stories. So in fact, his older brother was killed by the marauders because he was a farmer. And Mom said, "You're going to America. You ain't dying. You ain't going to go up there and take revenge." So now that you got my family history a little bit, then shall I... Then... Now, I told you his got killed later. This can't be... It's got to be families. Or Jeroboam. because I know the story. That's okay, King timeline, just so you get an understanding, because it's very important for me, myself, to tell you what's going on. And it also gives me, keeps these in mind of what I'm thinking here. Stalling for time when I do this. I told you that he's going to get a prophet that's going to come up there and tell him that this altar that they made onto another god in Bethel. So you stupid people going to the church of Bethel, you're going to a pagan church. I think that's funny. They just don't know what's going on. They don't read the Bible. Anyways, the prophet's going to come here and tell them there's going to become a king who's going to burn their bones on the altar. Okay. Now that happens. Now, when he comes here, he's going to kill off all his family here, but he's going to kill off whoever was the descendants from any of these. Okay. Even though they're coming from here. But I know that this is here. But is it the prophecy of here when he does this? Because right now Bethel is the capital city down there. This guy is going to go fight him in a battle, and our creator's going to tell him, you won the first battle, you pretty much destroyed everything in Bethel, thank you. And then they're kind of wandering around. This king buys a hill, okay, a hill that's what determines where the capital city Samaria is at. I don't care what you see on your maps, on searching the internet, it just ain't gonna be true. That's just lying to you. There's a great story of why this is and why this happens, that they're going to be then up by Samaria. So the Samaria is going to be right here. Let me see if I got a better map. No. Anyways, you can trust me on that. So I've got here. So this text has actually got to go before it. And this is a king's name, so I can't use it this way. So I'm going to Zaya, and I'm going to shorten it up and give him a new name. And this would be Jeroboam's priest. And it's just not a priest, it would be his high priest. I'm going to put it highest priest. Yeah, I can't do it any other way. It has to be this. It's got to be in Bethel as the city. This seems to tell me that this is being divided, and this is a piece again. Now this is not making sense. This now has to be descendants, or it means sons. I'm going to put the word sons here for right now, or Jeroboam with a sword. But there's not enough here. So this might not be used at all. So, but can't throw it out yet. Get rid of this as well. Then Zai. Might as well get rid of the A. Then Zai, his highest priest in Bethel. Okay. So I've got this comma period. Sent. No. It's got to be a priest. And he's sending the priest to Jeroboam. They stuck this word in here. It doesn't need here. Then Zai, a priest in Bethel, was sent to Jeroboam. There. See, now when I could put our king would mean this is being written about from the scribes there, but you have to understand the scribes are from the tribe from Levi. And when Jeroboam set that up, they all took off and said, we're out of Israel itself. We are the ones the most dedicated to our Creator. So they wouldn't have stuck around. So when I put the word there here, it's meaning that I could change that because it might be actually a prophet writing for Israel. And do I still have this? I don't think I do. Yes, I do. And he went there to say, to him, Amos, is conspired against you, but he didn't. He came. He's not conspiring against him. He's sent as a prophet to be told what was going to go on. So now it looks like I'm trying to put the story together in my head. So Amos is going to Bethel and doing the words that he just up about, that he's going to wipe them out, or East Manasseh. has conspired against you, and this doesn't need to be here, and the tribes for Israel. And the land is not able to endure all his words. um, it can't be conspired. It has to be prophesied. Has prophesied against us. Because I don't have the words Jeroboam's going to die here. I don't have that yet. So right now the text will read us. Us would be this, these altars. But he's saying it's for East Manasseh. Because I know that's the only land that's going to be gone. And the tribes for Israel. Now, that means I would have to add East Manasseh here. Of the land for now, if I know that's right, this is just going to be a piece stuck out here again. But this would be a period. Their king to Israel to say to him, Amos has prophesied against us and the tribes for Israel of the land for East Manasseh. I guess that's about as good as I can get it and still know that that's what's being prophesied by. Okay. Since these words aren't hooking anything, they're all. The land just could not endure his words, all his words. Okay. Now this means that this is here, got to be here. It's not Israel that's going to go in East Manasseh. Should be still in green here. And East Manasseh We'll go. Well, if I keep this, we'll certainly go into exile. Now these connect. For Amos prophesied. Jeroboam will die. Don't need to this. Jeroboam's will die. And East Manasseh will certainly go into exile. Okay. Now, let me grab all this. It can't be this guy. Go, you seer, flee away. Flee away into the land of Judah. And there eat bread, and there do your prophesying. So it is prophesying. That was for certain. And so I got that word right. It's just that he's not saying he prophesied. They aren't going to sneak down. They're going to sneak it in way down here. What they doing by the word say or saying. So those words were right then. Now, it has to be returning. Returning. And I have to do this. Returning Zai said to Amos. So he is in the land of, okay, this is rare that we have a prophet inside Israel. Now this means that he was there. And the seer, they change into diviners, astrologers, trying to think of the other word that they would use to meaning those that are going to speak about the unknown. Returning, said to Amos, because I'm trying to find a 4 verse. Go away to the land. This is the promised land of Judah, and they're all the good guys. So I got to go way back up here so I can save some time. I'm going to grab this, and now I come all the way back down here and say bingo right there. Go to the land for Judah. If I use these two words, go your seer, not flee, run away, to the land of Judah, go to the land of Judah. I don't see this as there, and there do your prophesying. But no longer prophesy. Although this guy is not saying they're coming from the Creator, so these are actually, I have to it was right. And I'll do this to note that in to the land of Judah and do your prophesying. We know there is where he's talking about is Judah. And do your prophesying, but no longer prophesy in Bethel. Nine, it's not a sanctuary for the king. It's the capital city for the king with a royal residence. But this is going to be out. These two are going to hook together. These two he sent and come back. This I got to make into something here of what he's going to say. And this has actually got to go up above someplace because the order is here. Jeroboam's will die and then East Manasseh. This is the correct order I've been telling about. So this text has got to go upward someplace. So let me see what I can do with that right now. And it has to be up, it has to be right here. So right now I gotta say move 3 verses up. And then put this all at 8 point. And then moved 3 verses here. Okay. Now that puts those in order. But but it's not then, it will be, because this has to be before this. So I will raise up. I will raise up. I will raise up, not against. I will raise up who? I will raise up 1. Then move this word against the sons, against the son. Or Jeroboam's are to die. At the end of, well, this is starting. That didn't work out that well, but I think I got this right. This has to be this. I will rise up 1 against the son, where Jeroboam's are to die. I can't remember offhand how he died. So this, what did I erase? Did I erase? Yeah, I shouldn't erase the word with the sword. I guess I'm going to put the blank here. And I know it just reads choppy, but that's as best I can do right there for right now without knowing how he died. And I could actually put his name here. So let me go back to that. Now, how come I can't find it when I want to find it? Nadab. This has got to be by. This has got to be out. And maybe I got to put the word by over here. By Ab's sword. Yeah, there we go. By blank sword. And like I said, I just need to figure out who killed him now. Okay. See how much fun I have doing these? Okay. Just pieces of the puzzle having to be put together. An hour and 20 minutes. And this has got to be a part one type of series because this is really digging stuff out of the mud. Okay. And then that's going to be the first part. This is going to be the second part. So this means this has to be a group. But if it starts out right here. No, it's not. What do we have as a 4-verse way up here? In the days for Asa, our king for Judah. So it's going to be written by Judah's scribe what Asa did. In the days for Jeroboam, the king for Israel. I can't put it together in my head. It's not working. My brain is not as young as it used to be. Okay. So let me put this mouse over my hand. Been doing too much work with my hand. Already got the carpal tunnel surgery on both wrists from 5 years of 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. My eyes burned so bad from reading what I was texting out, printing out, working so hard. I literally had a cloth over my eyes for 2 days. They were just sore. My hands were burning. Yep. Okay, now this. He can't answer. He's not a prophet. So this is. Verse, he's a herdsman. I'm a herdsman and a grower of sycamore figs. Sycamore figs. Sycamore trees. Not figs. Anyways, it's a joke of what it actually means. Like I said, there's a lot of encryption going on in here. And don't change my words. Don't even think about it. You're in trouble. Just like each one of these guys are, they ain't gonna make it to heaven. But YV took me. YV picked me and don't need this. I need this. Here. Not, he's doing this. Let's see, this is for my people. This time it would be after David's time, they're his people, meaning Jesus' people. His people in Israel. He didn't answer him, he replied. We know who he is, so it doesn't say this. Don't need those words. So Amos replied. Now we have, don't need this. Amos replied. Although I guess I'm going to leave that there. Then Amos replied. The prophets were male virgins, so the son of a prophet is not true, nor am I. But YV picked me. How come that didn't? Well, I hope that that pad I can do all this, and I'm gonna get that thing now. I went on the web and looked to see what this keypad is supposed to do for 200, and it seems that I was just thinking that maybe I can make these all macros instead of me sitting here coloring and making them smaller. Just when I get there, I'm gonna try that. Because I've got the macros already here. I think that's what I seen in those videos. I hate it when they don't get into in depth telling you how to do these things way ahead of time instead of me figuring it all out. Too much for an old guy. And why have you picked me? And he demanded. And I'm using the word me as if it's one of the words here. Me. Command me. Go prophesy to the people in Israel. Okay. Now I've got the first part here. I was not a prophet. Now that I know what I'm getting to here in the next verse, I was not a prophet. Don't need this. Where I was. Where I was a it's got to be farmer. Got the word. So I got to put it this way. I can't just say that I didn't add it. For I was a farmer. And I is going to be the subject, like the word he. I was a farmer, comma, and grower of figs. And a grower of figs. And why they pick me? I like finding out about a prophet's life. I really do. He was just minding his own business. And our creator says, hey, you. Like that. Oh, many times I've read how prophets are prophets. This is a good one. I don't think this came out in our creator's hidden formats. In fact, I'm sure that I would remember this. This is new under this format. So, but that's why I'm doing this. Once I get done with this, then I've got to go back and redo 360 videos of our creator's hidden formats. So a couple more years worth of work here. And now here, but this isn't what he said. He just replied, this is not him, and he probably turned around and walked away. How do I make him? How does this get put to be said that he said these things? Well, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. That needs to be out. They are. So he was in Bethel going around and talking. My words from YV. If I do this, I go back and say, now they are hearing. They are to hear. Are to hear. Okay, so that's going to be right. And that's going to be a comma. That's going to be a period. So I put, not get rid of the word now and say, and you and they are to hear. You and they are to listen, not just hear. You and they are to hear my words from YHVH. Yeah, I guess the hear is pretty good. Yet you saying I, oops, this am, gotta get rid of this and do this. Yet you are saying I am. This is going to be I am not to prophesy, and he knows prophecy is prophecy, so this will get all capped. Not to prophesy. Maybe this is a C. I got to check on that, but although let me make that a Z, and then it'll pop up and I'll get that in a spell check. Let's figure that answer out. Against Israel, nor shall I speak against in Israel. I like that. I am not to prophesy against Israel's. Got to be an S here. Israel. Nor speak against. Now, this is saying that there's a verse here missing because this here has got to be East Manasseh again. Right here. Well, let me just grab this. And this is now let's see, the property's going to be gone and they're going to lose the people. So the land for Manasseh, this has got to be changed to Jeroboam's, but this has got to be, because it's got to be what he said. So it's got to be land, that house, for East Manassas. This has to be common, and this has to be, the next sentence here has to be made up. And, whoops, and their people to exile. And this, it's all gray. This has to be, where's the word Jeroboam here? Let me, yeah. And I got to put son. And I got to say, I got to add all this as well. So, and then get rid of this. Now that's truthful of the text of what's going on. It's been adjusted, but it's what he has done above. Summing it up. Therefore, your wife will become a harlot in the city. And their priests weren't married. So you will, to make it to a priest level at that time, they would have been one to meditate, to have sex with the so-called female goddess. That's their practice of going against our Creator, those who sit in darkness. That can't be true. Now, now this was, okay, this is all caps. This has to be. Now this was said by YV. So this and this and this, and this. You don't know how many times I do this, these shortcuts. It takes time, but and this has to be, you will fall by the sword, comma, not that it will be parceled up. That's not, but it's when Eastman Nusses, when as they leave, as they leave their land. You'll fall by the sword when they leave your land. And what I'm looking for is if this is the second part of this group here, and this is this, then this means this is missing this. And it's going to be speaking to him. So it's not going to be they. They will fall by the sword. And leave their land, and you yourself will die. This doesn't need to be this. You yourself will die. And it's not soil, this is going to be land. And it's got to be not upon, but in. And this is going to be another land, to be truthfully said. Because I cheated, I read ahead. So this has to be although another land where you will certainly go. It's got to be with their people into exile. It's just, that's the best I can do, and I know that it's a little bit of a guesswork here going there, but that is the next thing. And if I'm reading the text right and trying to make the story correct, I think that's what's going to be the answer here. And this is 8. And these are visions that he's having. He's having another one now. So the very beginning might be the opening statement to the words of Amos when they write the text about him. This would be the book about Amos at this time during this. And then the text would go about telling the story. It'd be introducing who he is, what time, and then, okay, I think I got enough pieces here. A basket of fruit. Or it's ongoing from above, like there's two visions meaning the story of the two. And I'm going to make this word angel. If I can spell it right. And I guess angel from YV. Would be a basket of summer fruit. And you notice how this went into a 3 verse all of a sudden. Get rid of this. Almost like then I'm going to add it just to then the angel from YV. So, and if it's a different part of the story, a different version, then maybe that would be right, that they would put one story in a 4 verse format and another in a 3 verse format. Need to think about that, talk to our creator about that, because that would be quite unique. Me doing this all these years, and I just thought of what they're doing. by doing 3 and 4 verse. And this is going to be angel asked. Then he asks me, do you see then the angel appeared to me. If it's appeared to me, it would become from our Creator. So it would be appeared, and behold, hold, blew my theory all to heck. So don't listen to me all the time as being truthful. My mind goes from place to place. But this, I'm going to say I added, well, let me say that I added this way. This is there was a basket of summer fruit. And he asked me, what do you see? And I said, a basket. Okay. That seems to be back to the 4 verse kicking butt here. But this has already been said. You who trample needy, do away with the humblest in the land. weakest. And as that land, it has to be nation. And this would be Israel, though. Nation Israel. So maybe I can put Israel in here. It's not trample, but take from the needy. From the needy. In your nation. So this is not right. And there's not enough to make two groups out of that. And that's what I'm looking for, is another group to go with this. This seems to be the word told me. So I'm going to use the word told right now. The Creator just doesn't talk to people. It's who are we? You know? Their end is coming. Is, not has, is. Yeah, great. Crapola. And why have you told me their end is coming? Where's people? And then this would be talking about the future. So I got to have more text. I'm missing text. If this is about the future, This is just not true. Okay. It's got, this is going to be, maybe this is all got to be changed back to smaller text and says, this is coming from the angel. Then the angel told me, their end is coming. For YHVH'S. Now it's prophecy. And this would be the angel. And he's now speaking to him. Well, that's how that's got to be done. That's all got to be. Okay, I can do that at a different time. But and when, who's saying what? This just starts abruptly. This text it looks like there's could be a format here. But this is not, this is more or less like a conversation that he's had, a prophet would have with people, because this is, when you're talking about taking from the needy right here, uh, this is still dishonesty going on. but helpless for money, and the needy for a pair of sandals. I don't see this. And this is to sell the chaff with the wheat seed. So, but grain is already up here. It'd be repeating down here. So this is being, I'm just finding reasons to chop it down. But this would be, if it was to 2 verse, this would be needed. Oh, I didn't know that about a mackerel. Although this, I guess, still wouldn't be needed. From the helpless and needy. So as to buy from the helpless and needy, and that we can do this. Okay. This wouldn't be anything needed here. That's just not. If they're not going to be paying attention to our Creator, they wouldn't honor the holy day, not a Sabbath. So do away with the weakest of the nation, so that they may saying when we sell grain, to make the smaller bigger is what they do to make the smaller bigger with dishonest scales. Those two hooked together now. How's that? Don't need the word bushel. Make the bushel. We sell grain smaller This has got to go up here, but I'm going to need the word to make smaller. When we sell grain. It has to be we. It's just a puzzle. It's got to be figured out. We make smaller. We sell grain. By making probably doing all this work for nothing. This I don't think is needed at all. I gotta quit reading that. By making the smaller, we sell grain. By making it smaller, and the money bigger with the size scribes. And now the thing here is that is separate from this group. Okay. Onward and upward. So as to buy from the helpless and needy. Was to as to sell to the helpless and needy a pair of sandals. Man, I hate the long ones like this that just and buy from the helpless and take from the needy. I don't know. I guess I just got to move on. That's just too much time here. Indeed, I will never forget any of their deeds because of this. You will not land quake. And everyone who dwells in it will mourn. Seems to be changing the subject. Indeed, all of it will rise like up the Nile, will toss about, subside like the Nile. You got a feeling that they're talking about something other than what prophecy is here? I think it's going to break here, so and I think this, the grains have already been done, so it looks like this is the one that's giving me problems. I will not forget any of these deeds or their deeds. And then this is going to be so as to buy from the helpless and needy. I will never forget any of their deeds. And that would be rounding up like that's the end of the subject. It will come about in that day declared. It will come about in the days. This has to be days. Doesn't happen in one day. This has to be the days declared. Yeah, here again, I wanted to point out when I'm doing this with all the yellow, how many times they really do this, this adjustment for these. I guess I want to make them yellow. I should have done that on the other ones as well, because there it's going to happen again, and I think there's going to be a block of them here. Oh, that's the end. Okay. If this isn't going to happen, that didn't. None of this. Now this does happen. This prophecy of famine coming, that is in Israel, and that does happen. When Ahab, that one guy, one king coming up, um, one of these two kings, when I think it's when this king isn't that good in the beginning, there's a famine. So this is going to be lost, and now the next one is about a famine, which that's what's happening in order here. So it will come later, and the days are declared. And so no sense of repeating this. When he will send, and then they're going to say it's not a famine for bread, but thirst for water, rather hearing the words. Um, because it might be Elijah. Now that Elijah has passed away, then it's Elijah. Getting late in the day, my mind is not thinking. And he will send famine on the land. Send a famine will cause a drought on the land, or a famine of bread, and a thirst for water. And they've added this. And the people will stagger from sea to sea, which I don't think that's going to happen. Even to the east. I don't think that'll happen. To and fro. They will seek words. They're having to walk around the land waiting to seek the words from our Creator. From river to sea. From the river to the sea. And now it's from the north, it should be to the south. People will hunger, not stagger, but hunger. It's a, it's a drought. It's a famine going on here. That's stagger. And he's talking to them, then it has to be the word your, and your people will hunger from river to sea. And I don't think it needs to be up and down. They will go walking about. And they will not find. The story about Elijah, after he tells them the famine's there, then he goes into hiding. The king can't find him, and then all of a sudden Elijah shows up at the same time, or he's coming back, and at the same time the king has sent out his servant over his household to look for green grass to feed his cattle so he doesn't have to kill more off. They will not find green. They will not find it. They will not find greens. They will not find. They will not find. I gotta put it as greens. It sounds funny, but it is the answer, the best I can come up with right now. Like I said, my mind is not working here. I'm, but that would be the end of this, and then that. So that is what. In this, it's not. No. On your land. So this means he is talking to somebody here. And it's got to be a famine for bread. And a thirst for water. Because if you don't have any water, you can't have the greens. If you got the water, then so this has got to be and a thirst for water. That means this would be, but these two groups do go together then for that next many years. See, now this is talking about the capital city. I told you that, and this is going to start out that this king is establishing it and starting to build up this, and he's creating the second capital city for Israel here. That's what's going on with the word Samaria. This has already been said. Who lives Dan and in the way Barshia lives. They will not follow. That's just wrong. So I guess I was trying to make too much out of that. But I'm going to call it an evening here. But what I'm going to do, because I want to leave you with something halfway decent here, I'm going to say that I'm going to grab this text here and put it down at the bottom. And I'm going to put this right here right now so I can spot what's going on when I'm going up and down. And then this. I gotta save this text. And that's only because none of this is working. The rest of it's working. So this needs to come down here. How much of this can I grab? Wow, there was a lot of good text here. Okay. This I gotta throw out. Didn't connect with anything. This was just one group of things in the middle here. Let me just get rid of this right now. That's what I just took. And then the stuff at the beginning. And this I'm not going to take. But this is coming down. Going right here. Now this. Now Okay, now I'm just going to clean it up here, but you get an idea of what's going on here. Some text groups together and some not. That's 2 spaces. This is supposed to be 1 space. This is a group. This is a group. Then this has to be 2 spaces. Yep. A lot of text missing here. And this would be 2 groups. And then this would be just seeing quite a bit of space there. This would be 2 here, 2 groups in this. This is supposed to be only 1, but something's going on here. Because this is his reply. Oh, returning. These have to be together. Then it would be 2 here. This is a group. That's a group. 1, 2, okay. Then this has to be 1. Then this is 2. And then that. And then this starts a new one. So there is quite a bit here. 1, 2. It was looking so odd, I guess but this, I don't know what to do with that piece yet. This needs that next verse. It's a comma right now. And this. And then this would be 2. And if I can get one more verse here, then these two will go together. So I need 1 verse here, or I can get rid of all this. Our Lord. Then I would get rid of this. this, and I need to put it up here. Our Lord YV, days are coming. Maybe your days are coming, or these days are coming, or something like that. But that was sew that together. That sews that. Whoops. And no, that isn't good. But there's a mess in there. There's a group paragraph missing. But that's what this text is starting to look like. I will clean it up in the next video and make sense of all that. I hope, and try to get a good idea. So when I'm explaining the next part, I will finish up the text and get all that going. So, yakety yakety yakety. So,